Hey everybody. Going to talk about another subject that I feel I really need to get into. This is a subject that I've been putting off talking about because a part of me is kind of like, well, do I really need to talk about this? Yes, I do. I really do need to talk about this because this is, to me, it's a little personal, I will say. Now, I am a former student of journalism. I took journalism classes back when I was in my 20s. So there are certain things that I hear from journalists, television pundits, and all these other folks that has a tendency to irk the ever loving hell out of me. Because I look at this and I say, you people don't know what you're talking about, or either you're bold faced lying. Now, since what I'm about to get into may ring in some people's ears, I am not personally against Tim Pool or any of the other online pundits slash former freelance journalist or whatever. I don't hate or dislike them. I'm just calling out bullshit as a former student of journalism. The biggest bullshit that the journalism or the free press or as we like to call it now, the media has ever pulled is this belief that the media and journalists are champions of justice, truth, and that they are anti-corruption. You have no idea how many times I've heard Tim Pool and these pundits with journalism degrees online and on air talking about the duty of journalists, the duty of the press, the duty of the media is to speak truth to power and to weed out corruption, especially in high places. I've heard Tim Pool say this. Well, let me help you all out. No, that is not your fucking job. That is not your duty. Okay? That is not your fucking job. And I'm using that word fucking because that makes you sit up and listen. It's not your fucking job. It's not part of the fucking job description. You're the only constitutionally protected job in America. Freedom of the press. All right? The Constitution protects you. And you don't even know what your job is? What your job entails? Journalistic ethics? Well, let me tell you, because I can remember this sitting up there in my journalism classes. Your job as a journalist, in the most simple form, is to find a story, put it into a readable and understandable format, and then dispense it to the public for their own consumption by choice. Not by force, nor by manipulation. If the story is good enough or the information is interesting enough, people will read it. That's it. So, too long didn't read, or you're dumb and you need a better explanation? Let's say I go outside and I start talking to my neighbor, and my neighbor tells me, hey, I hear they're going to fill up that pothole on 34th Street. They are? Yeah, I heard it from one of my friends. So then I go to City Hall and I say, hey, City Hall, is it true that you guys are getting ready to fill in the pothole on 34th Street? Why, yes, sir, we are, Mr. Shatterhand of the Naked Truth. Yes, we are going to fill in that pothole. It's going to be filled in tomorrow, starting around 9 a.m. Okay, thank you. Can I have your name, sir? My name is Mr. Smith. I work here in this area of City Hall. Okay, thank you, Mr. Smith. Then I go home, I type it up on my computer, and make sure everything that I have said is factual. Then I put it out to the public. Ta-da! I'm a journalist. I just gave out a story of truthful journalism. All I told you about was a pothole is going to be fixed around 9 a.m. tomorrow. But still, it's journalism because I have completed all of the prerequisite actions for this to be a story and an act of journalism. Now, I can remember in my classes them teaching me this, but I don't ever remember my teachers telling me about speaking truth to power, going out and finding corruption to weed out and tell everybody about. In fact, I can tell you right now, I remember one of my journalism teachers saying that he couldn't stand that about aspiring journalism students. He called it Lois Lane syndrome, where every last journalism student thinks they're going to come in here, complete a course in complete a classes in journalism, a course in journalism, and then walk out there and become like Lois Lane, winning 2 Pulitzer Prizes within their first few years. Bullshit. Okay? Now, other part of Lois Lane syndrome, and I've confirmed that this sort of ideal exists about journalism just by watching people like Tim Pool and others over my last 30 years of being cognizant of the rest of the world around me. Lois Lane, top-notch reporter for the Daily Planet. What does this chick do that actually looks like journalism? Other than sitting at a computer or a typewriter typing away some bullshit story. She goes out and she gets herself nearly killed, kidnapped, or in some type of trouble, and Superman has to save her ass from said bad guy, gang, whatever. Then she gets back after being rescued and types out the story. She literally does this every damn time. That's not journalism. That's putting your ass in danger so you can get saved by a man. That's just ridiculous and silly, but this is what has become the standard of journalism, along with all of the movies and television shows where you have brave, intrepid journalists going out to find the truth of the story. The people need to know the truth. No, they don't. They don't need to know the truth. They may want to know the truth, but it's not your job to go out and find certain truths. Your job is to go out and find information that might be interesting. If that happens to be the truth, that's fine. Now, journalistic ethics is you are not supposed to lie. You're also not supposed to have a political or social bias when you're writing a story and insert that into the story. Now, if you want to write an opinion piece as a journalist on something, fine. Do that. Make sure you know and you tell everybody, this is my opinion. This is editorial. But no, it is not your job to go out and speak truth to power. Remember, the very power that you're speaking to are the one that protects your freaking job. The Constitution protects your job. You're a constitutionally protected job class as a journalist. But law enforcement, legislators, the President of the United States are supposed to use their authority to protect and power to protect you, the journalist, so you can do what you want to do. But you're saying you're going to go out there and harass them and find out about their corruption. You're going to stick the little recording device in their face and everything. What about your corruption, Senator? You do realize that you're slapping, stabbing, attacking, assaulting the person that protects your ability to do what you're doing. And if they want to shut you up or shut you down, they will. They can. And they have. Other than Watergate, go over to Mexico and find all of the graves of journalists who have had their asses shut up and shut down by the narco-traficantes. Most journalists who are smart, they know, don't get into this. Don't mess with this. You end up dead or shut down or canceled. I mean, how many journalists has somehow committed suicide? I don't know. 3 shots to the back of the head. I mean, that must have been a burst fire shotgun. Or handgun. How'd they shoot themselves in the back of the head? But see, most young journalists are the freelancers, and I'll just be upfront and brutally honest. Tim Pool has openly stated he did not graduate from high school. He's never been to college. So he's never taken courses in journalism. The only thing he's probably ever learned about journalism is from sitting up there with Vice News and whoever hell else it is he hung around with. And if they were already corrupted by this bullshit, he just got some of the corruption himself. Because he's ignorant and don't know any damn better. That's why I give him a pass when I hear him say this shit like speaking truth to power and weeding out corruption in the government. That's not your job, Tim. That's not your job, any of the rest of you. Your job is just to give me the story and the truth. That's it. You don't need to be going out and searching for corruption and vice to weed out in the government, because your ass gonna end up fucking dead. All right? Your ass gonna end up dead messing around with stuff that you have no power. Your voice has no power against a gun or a knife or a good swift ass kicking. All right? Your voice has no power. Much like in Lord of the Rings, so many of you millennial types love movie alliterations. You have no power here. You never did. The movies deluded you. The comic books deluded you into thinking that you somehow have some grand authority just because you declare yourself to be a fucking journalist. That you now have a higher duty and higher responsibility. No, you don't. You never did. That was a delusion you fed yourself. I was in my late 20s before I got over that bullshit. Because I wanted to believe it too. I wanted to believe that I was something special because I was a journalist. No, you're not anything special. You can die like everybody else. This isn't like you see in the movies and in TV where the intrepid, plucky journalist, after an adventure dealing with corruption or whatever, or some bad guy, they're placking away on their computer or their typewriter. And then scene flashes over to some senator or mayor or political person or some rich guy's house. The police bust in and they're starting to arrest him. You can't arrest me. I'm the so-and-so. I'm really special and important. And the cops are just putting him in handcuffs and carrying him off. Then we flash back to the journalists sitting there typing away on their paper. Yes, smiling happily as they know that somehow this guy's getting arrested that they're talking about. Oh. That has never happened in real life, and it never will. But you'll be surprised how many journalists, freelance and learned, literally think that this is what they're going to be doing at some point one fucking day. They literally think that this is what they're going to be doing. Brian Skelter, he's got a degree in broadcast journalism. Joy Reid. Stephen Smith, whatever, Shepard Smith. Hell, even Bill O'Reilly. All these guys you see on all of the major cable news channels, they've got degrees in journalism and they spout this same bullshit. And it is fucking annoying as hell. Shepard Smith is at least 10 years older than me. He went to journalism school and he's spouting this shit. Then you have Brian Skelter, who I know has a degree in journalism and broadcast journalism. He's spouting this shit. He's younger than me. He's 36 years old, 35, 36 years old. Yeah, I know, he doesn't look at you like, what the fuck? Yeah, he's 35, 36 years old, got a wife and 2 damn kids. He's got a degree in broadcast journalism. I have looked it up. And this man spouts that same truth to power, anti-corruption bullshit. How the fuck do these people sleep at night? What irks the hell out of me is I know more than these people do. I don't have a degree in journalism. I just took 6 classes in it over the course of 2.5 years. Why? It's just insane and pathetic. Now, I give the freelance journalists, those uneducated in the ways of journalism, a pass because you are ignorant and you do not know. If you happen to watch this video, young people who are like that, look it up. Go speak to a journalism professor who isn't Anna Kasparian, because Anna Kasparian gets to me the most in some ways. This woman is a journalism professor at some school, I think US, some offshoot of Berkeley University in California. She's teaching journalism. But if her behavior on TYT is any indication, she's probably not teaching these kids in her classes properly. Because I've heard her talking about speaking truth to power. And one other thing that I need to tell you, you guys about. It is not the duty of journalists to help change public policy. That is not your fucking job. It is not your duty to get laws passed or laws rescinded or amended. It is your job to write a story about the law, showing all of the facts, and then letting the people decide. But that is not your job. It's not your job to help the poor. It's not your job to get the abortion laws passed. It's not your job to get them rescinded. It is your job that if you find out that something like this is going on, then you report it to the public after you have written up a credible, understood, fully factual story. That's all you're supposed to do. That is all you're supposed to do. If you've ever wondered, if you're a journalist, you've ever wondered why these politicians want to tell you to go pound fucking sand, it's because they know what your job is supposed to be. And here you are sticking a microphone or a recorder in their fucking face, asking them stupid ass questions. And they're sitting there like, motherfucker, don't you even know what your fucking job is? If you don't know, I know, let me tell you. That's why Trump used to slap their shit all the damn time. Because Trump knew what their job actually was. And he's sitting there like, these guys ain't doing their fucking job right. That's why he'd always joke about CNN being a shitty network. But, folks, I just gave you the truth about what journalism is supposed to be about and what it's not supposed to be about. If you missed something, go back through the rest of this video and see what I am talking about. But too long didn't read version. Journalism is not about speaking truth to power. It is not about rooting out corruption. It is not about being right all the time. It is not about politics. You're just supposed to give us the news. You're just supposed to write up a story and tell us the truth. That's it. You're a constitutionally protected career class. That's it. All right then, folks. It's enough of this video. We're at 15 minutes and, well, going on 16 minutes. Everybody have a great and blessed day.